And the Inside Edition Rat Patrol is back. This time we're making headline news in Boston. If you think those big-name restaurants are immune from rat invasions, oh, think again. Our Rat Patrol has plenty of footage to make you think differently. Here's Matt Mahar.
Look at this filthy floor. Can you believe it's the kitchen of an upscale seafood restaurant after closing time?
That's unbelievably filthy.
Yeah. The restaurant is located in Boston's historic Quincy Market, and it should come as little surprise that we found this rat having a midnight snack right in the middle of the filth. That was just one of the disgusting things we found when we took the Inside Edition Rat Patrol to the city of Boston. By simply shining our flashlights through restaurant windows, we had no problem finding rodents inside and outside of some of Boston's finest restaurants. That rat dining on the filthy kitchen floor, it was at the pricey McCormick & Schmick's, part of a large national chain. It's the third night that floor has looked like that.
That is incredible.
Bruce Colvin is a world-renowned expert on controlling rodents. He says there's no excuse for some of the things we found.
Once a rat gains entry, they're going to have great survival in there with so much food.
McCormick & Schmick's sent us a statement saying they have regular inspections, strive to maintain the highest standards of food safety, and any report contrary to their standards is addressed immediately. A few miles away, in Boston's Chinatown, some people think the venerable China Pearl prepares the best dim sum in town. Apparently, the rats think so too, because we found two giant rats lumbering from the dining room to the kitchen in the early morning hours.
Oh my goodness.
See him?
David Moy, the owner of China Pearl, declined an on-camera interview, but blamed the rats on Boston's decade-long Big Dig roadway construction project, and said he has been trying to get rid of the rats with regular pest control services. In Boston's trendy South End on Tremont Street, on two different nights, we found a rodent hunting for food and posing for our cameras in a neighborhood Starbucks.
That's disgusting.
Since we notified Starbucks, the company said they've had 3 inspections, including one from the health department, that all found no evidence of rodent or other pest activity. Boston's North End is packed with some of the nation's most popular Italian eateries. But in the early morning hours, we found these guys in a cafe called Il Panino Express, and this guy in another called Assaggio. Both owners told us they were shocked, and they have regular rodent control services. The owner of Thai Basil on glitzy Newberry Street says the building his restaurant is in has a consistent rodent problem, and that's the reason we would have spotted this rat racing toward his kitchen after closing time.
That's a pretty big rat.
This morning I called it exterminated.
Yeah.
They should be here soon.
He's taking the food right from the dumpster.
But the most revolting rat revelation we found in Boston was just outside of Ruth's Chris in the historic Old City Hall. It's part of a nationwide chain of upscale and pricey steakhouses. We weren't able to see inside the restaurant from the sidewalk, but behind the steakhouse, we watched dozens of rats feeding on food scraps and garbage from the restaurant's overflowing dumpsters. A feeding trough for rats that have infested the entire neighborhood. They go from the dumpsters down a utility grate right next to it.
There are rats literally everywhere in this corner.
Our expert says it's a subway system for rats.
The rats of Boston will eat well tonight. They're going to have king crab, lobster, and jumbo shrimp.
We watched as Ruth's Chris cooks and waiters repeatedly dumped garbage in the dumpsters and left them unsecured.
Shouldn't these dumpster lids be closed? You know, you've got a bunch of rats here.
The next day, we showed video of the dumpsters to John Meany, Boston's chief health inspector.
But there's no reason for a big restaurant like that to have 4 giant dumpsters overflowing with food at any time.
Unacceptable. And it's something that we'll talk to them. We'll be down there today.
True to his word, just a half hour later, Meany arrived at Ruth's Chris with a team of inspectors and issued the restaurant a violation for overflowing dumpsters.
This is unacceptable.
I totally agree.
The manager blamed homeless people for opening the dumpsters. But that's not what we saw. I mean, you're basically feeding all of the rats in the neighborhood.
You know that we do our best to keep everything clean.
When the food is left out overnight, people are growing rats and mice. It's as simple as that.
The Ruth's Chris Corporation says they've worked with inspectors on a regular basis to ensure cleanliness and safety at that restaurant, and say they're currently working to ensure the exterior of the location meets the same standards. For more information about our Rat Patrol reports, just come to our website, InsideEdition.com.